Thing working? Is it working? Let's see. Let's see if it's working. Maybe it's working. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is it working? Okay. Okay. I think it might be working. I sound crazy. Okay. Maybe that's better. Okay, yeah, that's better. All right. I pushed some magic buttons, so hopefully I don't have an echo. It should sound good. I should look good. Things are all set up. Woo! Hi, Tarot Goddess. Thanks for being here. Hi, Cousin B. Thanks for being here. I have some energy. I just got up from a nap. I needed a fatty nap. I all of a sudden got a headache. Thank you, Tarot Goddess. I think my lovely new frame is helping a lot, though. I wanted to jump in here. I just got up from my nap. I had a bit of a headache, so I took a nap. And now that I'm feeling good, I was like, all right, let me jump in here before Koala goes live. See what we're able to get done today. What we could go through before everybody is splitting screens. But thank you for being here. All right. I'm still getting used to. I love this frame, but the difference of like when I'm looking at my screen and where I'm writing and then looking to see where my writing is coming up is a little bit crazy. But I did get some help adjusting the screen, so it should be better today. All right, so let's make, ew, not with that size. Let's make our list. And I'll look to see if you're going to tell me how you're doing today. I hope everybody's doing well on this Saturday. Okay, so we have our 803 from last week that we need to talk about. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Hi, Judy. Thanks for being here. It's good to see ya. And then we have yesterday's numbers. Oh, good. I'm glad you're doing well. Hi, Alex. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Oh, and then I think we'll keep it to three things today. Because we've the last couple weeks, hip hop's been a little bland, but you know what I think it is? And I've heard of this, but haven't experienced it regularly in my life. That when you are so used to like high stress situations, um, or you've experienced a lot of trauma, then when you're not going through those high stress situations, it feels like something's wrong. I think that's what hip hop's going through right now. I think it's done. Hip hop has had all of this turmoil of this shift that is happening and all of these things happening as it's shifting into this new space that it's meant to be in and preparing to receive some really big blessings. Um, and it's a little bit uncomfortable because it's unknown territory. But I think most of what we are seeing, like this week and the last couple weeks, and we see it not just in hip hop, but all over, can be pretty much summed up with the word addiction. So we're going to talk about addiction. Under here, we will also talk about And actually, we'll make it separate. We'll talk about addiction, but then we'll also talk about some of the words and phrases that have come up this week. So if you have any of those, we'll put them all together. So I know we have buzzword that we wanted to talk about, and we have the word, we can look at the word culture itself. Any other words or phrases I should put under this number 4, or any specific addictions that you would like to talk about under number 3? Hi, Josh. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Oh no. Such demands. Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding everybody, Alex. Yes, please hit the like button. Appreciate you. Love you so much. Okay. So we're fighting on some borrowed time because I had a migraine. Well, there was a migraine trying to take me out earlier today, and it kept coming and going. So then I went and took a nap, and I feel really good right now. But I am a realist, so I know that it probably is going to come back. So we're going to do what we can before that happens. And really, that actually is a pretty good signal. So when I get these type of migraines, it means that there's some big energy shifts that are starting to come in. I usually get these types of migraines 2 days to like a week before there's a big, huge energy shift. Um, and we just had, there was a volcanic eruption that happened in Japan. There also was an earthquake that happened. We have some sun flares coming in. And we have some comets doing some crazy stuff. So we got some energy coming from somewhere. But if I'm talking all fast, I think I usually talk fast. But if I'm talking extra fast, that's why. Because I know I'm working on borrowed time. All right, so let's talk about our 803 real quick. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So, I know you don't see the wheel up there. Don't freak out. We still are going to have our wheel. I figured out how we can still have our wheel pop up and we can still do our wheel spin. So, we will still have that cuz every week we spin the wheel and we get a number vibration that we look out for throughout the week. And so this last week, our vibration was 803. And 803 is aligned with this story that we've been seeing, this vibrational story around 11 transforming into 2, where this 11 is representative of duality, where we have these two extremes that are it's not even that like they are at war with each other, they're just both existing in the same space, and they're trying to use the same energy but in very different ways. And so it's splitting the energy, it's splitting basically it's splitting the timeline, and it's splitting life in general. So it's making it so we are experiencing these two extremes at the same time. Now, we've always had like this dualism happening because that's just the nature of Earth. But right now, um, it's very much accentuated. And that's because we're all going through, and Earth herself is going through a big, huge shift in that we are needing to go from the dualism that we're used to, where we're used to having these extremes and having to figure out how to balance between them or figure out how they can coexist. And instead of continuing to do that, instead of continuing to split that energy, we need to get to this two where we are ending the division and the duality. So we need to be looking at these two extremes, seeing what is causing the polarization for these extremes to be over amplified, and getting bigger, and figure out how to disconnect ourselves from that part, but also look at what are the positive things that have helped us in life, that come from both extremes, and bring those to a new place where we are creating a new path. So ending division, ending dualism is not picking one side or the other. It's acknowledging that both extremes exist, but both extremes are too extreme. Both extremes are not going to be good for us. Only one and not the other, not going to be good for us. And so we need to find this middle ground division and end this division. So taking the parts that work for us, that are good, and bringing them together. This 803 is giving us some hints and telling us that we can do this if we are wise, because 83 is the numeric vibration of wisdom. Yes, Judy, we need to balance, but we need to balance differently. Because what we've been doing is we've been balancing between these two extremes, by allowing them to still exist. But now the two extremes have gotten too big. They're too big. They're sucking up too much energy, where it's like we can't split between them anymore. We can't split between them to try and balance. What we need to do is figure out how to have this one new place that just utilizes the good parts of both of those places. So it's something brand new. We need to do things in a brand new way. So like we were talking about yesterday, where we have this surge of creativity coming in. We're preparing for this surge of creativity that should begin to come at the end of June. And so this is where we're starting to be able to look at how do we use our creativity energy in a different way? How do we not split our creativity energy between the extremes in our life? Like, oh, I'm going to be creative at work this way, but I'll be creative at home this way. And instead start figuring out a brand new way to use that creative energy. What are the parts from being creative at work that you really enjoy and that work for you? And what are the parts of being creative outside of work that really work for you? And pulling those together and creating a brand new space for your creativity to flourish. This is actually wisdom. So recognizing that these two extremes exist, but that we are not meant to choose between extremes, because neither extreme is going to be good for us. This will be wisdom. Oh, hi, Rumpel! Thanks for being here. It's good to see ya. So that's what this 803 is telling us. So this 803 we could have seen as a time, but also just as a number itself. The only difference here was we have 83 as wisdom, but this also has the 0, where we're getting some enhancement of this vibration and some guidance from this God, universe, higher power energy of this 0. So this 0 is saying don't focus as much on the growth. Yes, you need to grow. We need to build in our vibration. We need to ascend, but that's not what our focus should be. Our focus should be on how are we repurposing this energy that's coming back around, because this 8 is that reap what you sow energy. So how are we using the energy that is coming back around to us? How do we repurpose it in a different way, in a wise way? So this was our vibration from this past week. That's some pretty good advice there. And then at the end, we'll spin our wheel and see what our vibration will be for this week. Cool. Okay. See you later, Tarot Gothis. I know, you'll just be lurking. But still. All right. So we got our 803. We'll look at that some more. Oh my, why did I underline it when I meant to cross it out? There you go. Oh, hi, sweet cookies. Thanks for being here. It's so good to see you. Okay, so we're on to, well, before we go to the numbers from yesterday, are there any other words from this week in hip hop that you wanted to look at? Because I can add them to this number 4. This number 4 list. I have buzzword and have culture. Anything else? Any others? Any others? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Boom times 3. That's what I'll put. All right. Any others? Hey, sweet cookies! You haven't seen yet. How do you like my frame? Pretty fancy, right? Yeah, she fancy. She fancy. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. All right. I don't think I missed any other words, but we'll come back here. So you can think of any if there's any that you want to add to this list. And we'll look at those in a little bit. All right, so let's go to these numbers from yesterday. I did all my fancy work yesterday or earlier before I got live to be able to bring these over. I was a little worried, but it's all good. Okay, so let's see. Um, it looks like and is feeling like there's definitely a lot of threes here, but these numbers that are including these threes are giving us a story altogether. Moody. I mean, isn't that somebody's name? Maybe it's not spelled that way, but as soon as I said Moody, then all I thought of some guy, but I don't remember who he is. Who's Moody? Rudy? You don't know Rudy? Oh man. Ruby? Oh my gosh. I need to get out of the chat. You all are gonna distract me. All right, let's see. So we have this one story with these four numbers. And then let's see. I think these other two also go together, but in an interesting kind of way. So let's actually start with these two. So this 462 and 217. Oh. Oh my gosh. Funny. Moody Tooty Fruity. Booty? Okay. I'm stopping now. Oh, also, did I dream it? I might have dreamed it. But I feel like somebody asked me a question or has a question about some subscriber numbers. I don't know. But if you think of it, just let me know and I'll put it on the list. All right, so let's look at 462 and 217 over here. So 462 and 217. And they're operating in this way where they're kind of working together. Where these twos, because that story of 11-2 is so dominant, these are kind of working together. Where when we're reading vibrations, so when we're reading numbers as vibrations, we write them. So we write our numbers from left to right. So when we're writing them. But when you're actually reading vibrations, you read them from right to left. And so these two vibrations are situated in this way because in this 217, the last step, the last part of this story, which is the 2, is the first step of this story, which is the 2. So they're flowing together. So it's like this. Boop. Okay, I'm going to take that away because it's in my way. So, what we are seeing here interesting. Okay, so this vibration or this energy of 17, which in the tarot is represented by the star. So it's this story around the star. What is this star energy? Who is this star energy? And this actually does take us to an 8. So it is that repeating, that reap what you sow kind of energy that's coming back around. And if you are encountering it in a particular way where you are using it for your greater good and for the greater good of those around you, then that's what makes you, or makes that energy, the star. That's the star energy. And so it's this work in this star space that then is allowing for uh, there to be some end of division. And this feels very much like this division is ending because there's a facing of this karmic reap what you sow energy. And because it's faced, then you don't have to worry about it anymore. So whether it's good or bad, because sometimes even good energy can feel not, it doesn't feel bad, it just feels uncomfortable because we're not used to it. But when we face it and we allow it to come in, now we're able to end the division. Now we're not having to focus on it so much or really pay attention to it, where it's causing us distraction. You see how I looped that, together and back around and all that? Yeah. Good me. um and so then this ending of division is now beginning this new part of the story. It's like a new chapter. So this 217 is like chapter 1. And this 462 is like chapter 2. So with this ending of division, this new chapter starts with this end of division. So now that this division is ended and we're not being split between these two ways, we can now get to this 46. What is coming up for this 46, and these are sticking together, kind of like how this 17 was really kind of sticking together in this storyline, so is this 46. So this 46 is a 10 that goes to a 1, but also for 2026, if we do 20 plus 26, that's how we're getting the 46. And so we've seen this 46 coming out as we've been discussing this 2026. And the need to recognize this, the need to recognize this split between big G God, which is the 0, and this little g God, which is 26. This 46 is the coming together of those extremes and understanding what parts of them are associated with comfort, because this 6 is comfort, but it's also our discomfort. So what parts of us relating to and working with a higher power, big G God, are making us comfortable, feel secure, or making us feel uncomfortable in our learning? So remember that being uncomfortable is actually a sign that it's really time for us to learn something new. And then that is what's bringing us to a place of stability and also building of a new foundation. Because when we end this division and we're on a new path, now we're having to build new comfort zones, recognize which comfort zones need to fall away, but we're also building new foundations to build whatever this new is that is coming into our space. Very interesting. Okay. And so then what we need to do is look at So if we do 462 plus the 217, we get 679. And that's relevant, but that's not the bigger outcome that we're looking for. So you need to add these up as they're coming through. So it's actually 46 plus 2 plus 2 plus 17. Yep, that makes more sense. So let me write that. So if we look at this, how the story came in and like which vibrations are working together, we do 46 plus 2 plus 2 plus 17, and this equals 67. Not 67. 67. 67. Okay. Sorry. And 67 is the numeric vibration of the word soul. Also the word water. And also the word work. And so this is letting us know that if you are working in these areas, so if you're working, and usually we could be working in more than one of these at a time, but if you're working in these areas of your soul, so like in the area of like your spirituality, your healing, then this is a storyline, these 2-chapter storyline that can work for you. Also, if it's actual work, your profession, what you consider work or how you're defining work. And then also water would be in like, it's coming through as like areas of health. So if you are working on goals, if there's a lot of energy that's coming in to your spaces in these areas, spirituality, healing, health, or your profession, then this is a 2-chapter story that you want to be using. And how you would use that is we go through these steps again. So how you would use it is you are first going to look in these areas and look for where the energy is coming back around. Where are you having these memories? Where is a pattern maybe happening again? And make sure that you're making the best choice for your greatest good. And that all the time is not the easiest choice. Usually it's not the easiest choice. But then you want to use that energy. You want to reclaim that power, reclaim that energy like the star. So then you can end the division, end the need to have this back and forth and be pulled in so many directions in this area of life. By doing that, that takes you into this next chapter where you are able to examine the comfort zones that are associated in that area of life and the foundations that are in that area of life. And you can see where are these comfort zones that I need to just let go of because they're no longer serving me. I shouldn't be comfortable with them anymore. Where are my foundations crumbling? But also, where am I uncomfortable because it's an area of learning? Am I just staying stuck in like this workspace because I'm fearful of being able to learn something new? Am I feeling uncomfortable because it's a time for me to learn something new or expect that there is something new that needs to come in, like in the area of health? And that helps to change this foundation, and that allows the new energy to now come in and impact this area of life. and it'll impact this area of life for a full transformation, where this is not just for a small change. This is actually for a bigger transformational change that wants to come into this space of your life. Okay. If you need to go back and look at this recording, please do. But again, if it's these are the areas of life, in profession, in health, spirituality, and healing, that's where this message can be most helpful. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Now let's look at, let me see if I could just, I just erase. Oh, I can't. All right, I'm going to erase these that we already looked at. So then I can look at these together. Together forever we are. Okay, so here we have these vibrations working together, where 23 is informing 203, because you could see the 23 in there, which in turn is opening us up to be informed by 333. But why, you might ask? Well, that's what I'm asking. And so we're going to add these three together to get a better understanding of why we even need to look at these. Like, why do we need to dig into this messaging? So we already know that it's definitely a message around growth, because 3 is growth. Oh my gosh. I see. I'm always watching. Always. I see. And so when we add these up, we get 559, which takes us to a 19, which is another one of these is another one of these vibrations that are coming in very loudly right now. So 19 really is about allowing things that are meant to end to end. Allow it to end. Stop trying to hold on to it. Old ways of doing things, old ways of thinking, old comfort zones. I was gonna say old people, but it could be just people that you need to let go of. They may not be old, or they could be old, or they just, their energy is old. Let those things end, because by allowing those things to end, now it's opening up the space for this brand new energy to come in. And we see this being emphasized here in this 559, where this 9 again is bringing an end to things. And by bringing an end, allowing these things to go their separate ways and be gone, we can now really start to work on this karmic change. So it's not just change, because 5 is all about change. But 55 is related to the word karmic. It's the numerical vibration of the word karmic. And so This is a karmic change. It's a change that's coming back around. It's meant to happen. And it's meant to happen in this way. Mm. Okay. So then we have this progression is then what is getting us to this 3616, where 3616, when we do 36 plus 16, and actually I don't want to put it there, I want to put it above it. When we do 36 plus 16, we get 52. 52 is the numeric vibration of the word heart. So we're going through all of this in the area of your heart. So these things that need to be let go, they are around these areas of the heart. They need to end. They need to be let go. Oh my gosh. You all. I see you back there. I see you in the back of the class. I'm not going to change nothing, but I'm just letting you know I know. So it's this area of the heart that we really need to focus in on. 23 is the numeric vibration of I am. It also adds up to 5. So this is our first change. So here where we had these karmic changes, we have our first change that is happening in this area of identity. So it's looking at what and who and how you think and behave is at the heart of who you are. Because some of that needs to change. It's time for this version of yourself, this identity to change. But it's really at the core of who you are, the core of your identity. It's not outside of you. And that's what this I am is saying, is like, look, these changes that need to happen, at least this change, it's happening inside of you. It's important around looking at what's at the heart of your identity. Like when you really think about who you are, some of those things need to change, or they need to evolve, they need to grow. Because we also have that emphasis on the 3 here with growth. Then that gets us to where then when we start really looking at our identity at the heart of who we are and what needs to end so this new energy, these new identity can come in, now this God universe energy, this higher power, is giving us some more guidance as to what to do next. Yeah, right. I couldn't just see that and not say nothing. Yeah, right. But okay. Anyway, anywho, this God universe is guiding us a little bit more. It's telling us to not to get stuck on the growth. So this is similar to like what we just, what the hell? Sorry, spelled wrong, spelled bad. It's just kind of what we just saw with this 803, where it's not, don't get so focused on, am I growing in the right direction? Allow yourself to just grow and change. The part that you really need to focus on is ending this division, where within yourself, at the core of who you are, at the core of this identity, stop being split. Stop being split between one identity and another come together in this new identity. Allow yourself to grow naturally into this newest version of yourself. Stop being split. Don't allow yourself to be split anymore about like who you are at home and who you are out in the streets. They should be the same person. And we know that many of us haven't been able to do that. More out of safety than anything else. That our truest, most authentic identity is not safe outside of our safe spaces, outside of our homes. But that's this new path. It's figuring out how do we step into this most authentic identity where we are ourselves at all times and not feeling like we have to be somebody else or we can't be ourselves, especially out of safety concerns. So this is the story that we're getting from these vibrations. We are not going to be able to amplify the growth. So when we get to this 333, whenever we have these vibrations that are here together, that's where we get this amplification of that vibration. So here we're getting an amplification of the growth. That's probably part of the reason why here we were told not to worry about it as much. Because once we really recognize where we're being divided and how to be our most authentic self, then the growth will be amplified, and also we'll be able to easily bring an end to any of those parts of ourselves that no longer serve us. Oh my gosh. Okay, stop. You are funny. So we have to start within ourselves, start at this individual, looking at ourself and at the heart, the core of who we are. So then we can better understand what is dividing us. Because when we're not our most authentic self, it's usually because we have a division. We have part of us that we're able to let out into the world, and part of us that we are not. We don't feel like we can. All of this is being revealed. We have these placements in astrology, especially that Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which is the area of I am. And it's Saturn, which is responsibility, taking responsibility for your identity. And we have Neptune, which is dissolving the illusion of your identity right now in Aries at the same time. So all of these fake personas and identities, which we have been seeing in hip hop, are dissolving away. It's like pulling the curtain back on the wizard. It's like, oh, you're not so great and terrible. You're just a guy, an old guy behind the curtain. All of those illusions are dissolving away, and it's time to take responsibility for your identity. By doing that, that allows you to end the division within yourself around who you are and what's your most authentic self. And this is at the heart of who you are. These aren't like the little things. These are like big, huge things. That then gets us to this place of the heart where now we have these two sixes of comfort. So these two doses of comfort that are bringing forth this new energy. So now this new energy is able to contribute even more to your growth. Hmm. Okay, sorry, had to listen. Um the last thing with this story is that this 3616, we have the 16 here of the tower. So the first part of this outcome of things is the tower falling. Also, when we add these together, so when we do 3 plus 6 plus 1 plus 6, we get 16 again. So this is falling in line with this narrative we've been getting around this tower falling. This tower falling, these foundations of what not, and it's hip hop, it's but it's a lot, it's like individual lives, it's everywhere that these towers are falling. Like we're seeing the foundations that have defined who we are and what we do are beginning to crumble, and we need to not ignore it. And this again is one of these stories, one of these vibrational stories that is telling us how to deal with that. Is telling us how do we make sure that we are prepared for this tower to fall. Okay. So then the messages that we talked about yesterday. So for anybody that was not here yesterday, you should go back and look at yesterday's discussion of these dates. April 25th, 2026 to June 30th. What? Stop it. Why are you being so rude right now? June 30th, 2026. The messages that are coming through in using this time to prepare to get out of these towers. We need to creatively build new foundations. New foundations for the life that we want to live and that we deserve to live after these towers fall. Because when the towers are falling, whether you're in the tower or not, is it'll be chaotic when towers are falling, because we're already seeing it happen. We're already seeing some of this chaos in hip hop and outside of hip hop, and we're seeing how this chaos of these foundations, the way life has been, the dominant way of thinking and the dominant way of doing things is crumbling, and we've seen how that has caused some chaos. So whether you're in the tower when it falls or you're outside of the tower when it falls, you're still impacted by this tower falling. You still witness it, you still experience it. And we're getting so many messages about what needs to be done. So I guess maybe we should do it. Oh, the 25th is your birthday. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to celebrate that for sure. That's a big celebration. Because this year, especially, that energy is, whew, there's big shifts that are starting on that day. And it being your birthday, that means your own personal energy is going to be shifting on that day. Yeah, we'll need to look into that some more. Yeah, we'll need to look into that some more, sweet cookies, because it's very much, wow. It looks like what is happening is so every year on our birthday is when we vibrationally change into a new year for ourselves. And with so much happening energetically, like with the planets and with the bigger vibrations that are around us on that same day that you are shifting into a new year energy, that means that your coming year will have a lot of energy in it. But that could go one of two ways. If you are prepared in using that energy in very specific ways, it can be very beneficial and give you lots of blessings. But also, when we have an influx of energy and we are not prepared to use it or we don't know how to use it, this is when we get anxiety. This is also when we could feel overwhelmed. Yeah, so we'll need to talk about that some more. We'll talk about that some more. Okay. Any other questions or anything about those numbers? It seems like we're just getting a lot of these similar messages in a lot of different ways. We're seeing it in the astrology, we're seeing it in the vibrations and the numerology. We're even just seeing it in everyday life. That we are supposed to be in preparation mode, but it's preparation for really big blessings. But just like I said, that big, huge energy that can produce really big blessings can also be a source of anxiety if you're not ready for it. Because if you just feel this big energy, but you don't know how to use it or really what it's for, then you start freaking out and get all anxious and think. And as humans, we tend to go negative and pessimistic and think it's a bad thing. I think that's why the universe wants us to prepare now for good things, good things. Okay, so just pay attention. Then, if you want to look at more details, they are in yesterday's live for that time period of April 25th to June 30th. Also, I did, you could see where a lot of those numbers came from. Wednesday is when I looked at those same date ranges more in depth on Twitch. So both of those videos are available. I will be putting more together and putting it out for us to be able to use and be prepared and actually use this energy in ways that's going to really help us. Okay, I'm just getting, it's just really annoying because it's, I hate saying that, but it's true. It's just really annoying because it's just the same message repeating, which means that it's really important and it's really important for me to keep reminding us and reminding everybody. But I don't want to be annoying, and it's annoying to me, but still very important. You're welcome, sweet cookies. Mm. Oh my goodness. Oh, you all give me the giggles, but I don't know if that. Man, I don't know how we'll ever top the giggle fit I had last week. That was crazy. You know, my throat hurt for like 2 days after that because I just laughed too much. And I like to laugh. But that was a little bit much. Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about. Yeah, me too. Judy, I thought I was about to pass out. What would you have done if I just passed out on live? Just waited for me to come to? That would have been crazier. I did feel like it though. I was laughing so hard. No! I know laughing is contagious and it's wonderful. It's good. It's really good therapy. But man, oh man, I had like a whole different kind of ab workout from laughing that hard. I can only do that ever so often, not every week. Oh my gosh. I'm not even I didn't see that, Josh. I didn't see it. All right, so let's talk about addiction. Addiction. Oh goodness. So, listening to the stories that have been happening in hip hop, not just this week, but like the last couple weeks, there has really been this theme of addiction. Because even something like greed is addiction. And addiction makes you do crazy things and it makes crazy things happen to you. But we all have an addiction, or what we would call an addiction. So let's first look at the word itself so we can see what the vibrations are. So, addiction. Addiction. Thank you, Judy. Oh my gosh. So, here is where we need to look at each of these individual vibrations. So if we use our little code book where A equals 1 all the way to Z equals 26, A is 1, D is 4, so we have 4, 4, then I is 9, C is 3, T is 20, I is 9, O is 15, and N is 14. Let me also, though, add these up. So 1 plus 4 plus 4 plus 9 plus C is 3. They're the same in my brain, so I get mixed up. And then 9, and then 15, and then 14. So addiction resonates at the vibration of 79, where again we are running into this vibration of 16. Here again, we have the tower in the tarot is represented by this 16. So addiction is this place where um, foundations are broken, and foundations can cause problems within your space. So then when we look at these individual vibrations here, we needed to have these coming out because, so 44 is the, let me get a different color here. 44 is the numeric vibration of the word faith and also the word hope. So within addiction, hidden within addiction is your faith or hope, or your loss of faith and hope. Also, what's within this addiction is this 32, which is the mirror image of 23. And 23 is the numeric vibration of the phrase I am. So this 32 is representative of within your addiction, you are getting caught up in usually things of the past. So our reflection that we see in the mirror, it's usually the things that we need to learn from. And what we need to learn from is our experience and our past, most likely. So this 32 is representative of this energy coming back around that we need to be using for learning, but we could also get stuck in it. I think those are the two main things. Okay. So we've talked about how when we're using something like astrology, we cannot just use one thing. You cannot just use the sun sign to say that that's how everybody with that sun sign is. It changes and is nuanced because we should be looking at the three big parts of your astrology, which are your sun, which is around how your mind is working, your moon, which is around how your heart or your emotions work and contribute to your life, but then also your rising. Your rising is how you shine out into the world. This is how you are seen. And these three together are these vibrations that you use. But then you also still have like your life path number, which would be in here. And all of these vibrations are coming together to make you uniquely who you are. So there really isn't like a exact blueprint for being able to talk about everybody. But it is this, you should be looking at this blueprint or this patterning for each individual on their own. This relates to addiction in that also within your chart, within your astrological chart, you have your placements of Neptune and Pluto. So let me see how I want to draw this. How do I want to draw this? I think we'll just do it like this. So you have Neptune and actually Chiron. I think I said Pluto, but it's actually Neptune and Chiron are in your chart. And these two together are the dominant vibrations around your addiction. One is Neptune is all about the escape. So let's see. And that's what addiction is. So, as we've seen, oh my gosh, hope I don't laugh again. As we've seen these crazy things happening around like Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane and also Offset, where these are addiction behaviors, doing things that make no sense and that hurt you more than help you, is addiction. It's coming from an addiction place. Neptune in your chart can let you know and give you more information about how you escape reality. Because Neptune is the energy of illusion. And we just talked about that because Saturn and Neptune together have moved into Aries here. They moved there together in February 20th, actually. Same day that Baby Keem's Casino came out. But now that they've moved into Aries, Neptune is the vibration that we use to try and build an illusion, but it also is what dissolves the illusion. And so, where your Neptune is in your chart, it can show you how you're trying to escape reality. What illusion are you trying to create? And what are you trying to escape? The Chiron. And Chiron is the wound. This is the wound space. This is the greatest wound that you have to heal and overcome in your lifetime. And so we are running away so this is why everybody has addiction. You're running away from this wound. Recognizing and seeing this wound, you're running away. And the way you're running away can be seen with this Neptune. So Chiron is the wound. Neptune is the escape of how you try and escape the wound. What is the illusion that you try and put in place? These two together are what are the dominant vibrations within addiction. Now, when we talk about like people having an addictive personality, this happens because there's other aspects that also are coming into play. So like if your Neptune or your Chiron is connected some way to your sun or your moon, then it could be directly tied to your mother or your father. So if Neptune or Chiron is attached to your sun, then it's like that wounding or that addiction could be coming from your father. If it's attached to your moon in some way, then it could be coming from your mother, or your mother could be feeding that addiction. Also, if you have other planets that are in the same space as Neptune or Chiron, but also how Neptune and Chiron relate to each other can change what that addiction looks like. So very similar to like this sun moon rising, We have a starting point looking at addiction with Neptune and Chiron, but we have a lot more other things that we have to look at to really understand what's happening. So let me pull. I want to pull because I don't want to use, like, we have individuals, but you know I don't like to use individuals um because that just feels too invasive. So let's look at hip hop as a whole. And we can look at what these addictions look like in your astrological chart. So then you can look at it on your own. And if you want to go look at individuals, you could go do that yourself. All right, let me move it this way because so we have more space. All right, so let me see if I can get this in here. Whoa, that came through nicely, but also way too big. Mm. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's good. Make sure. Let me move it down a little bit because I just noticed where all right, so this is hip hop's birth chart. Hip hop has the vibration of its name. So hip hop, its name is 72. Its life path number, it was born August 11th, 1973. So its life path number is 39. We have a sun in Leo, so the way that its mind works is very creative, but also in the spotlight. The thinking is around being in the spotlight, being the center of attention with this Leo. Then we have the moon is in Capricorn. So the emotions of hip hop are very structured, like lyrics, rhythm, rhyme. That makes sense. And then we have the rising. So how hip hop is presented in the world is in Pisces. And Pisces is very much around spirituality. When you have a Pisces rising, really sun or rising especially, is when you're seen as highly imaginative, and also it's very spiritual, but sometimes like disconnected, like dissociated, or like disconnected from reality. Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew Koala was going live at some point. So these are just the general breakdowns for hip hop. But let's look at these two aspects of the wound. So we first have oh no, that's Mercury. We usually talk about that, but we're not going to talk about that today. So first we have Chiron over here. Oh wow, only 7 minutes late. That's different. I thought I had more time. So Chiron, this is the wound, and hip hop's Chiron is here in Aries. It's an identity wound. it's around I am. So, how is hip hop defining itself? And these have been coming up in conversation since the start of hip hop, but we have been seeing some of these conversations coming up a lot more here recently around um the culture of hip hop. How is it defined? Who belongs? Who doesn't belong? Um, that's all of this identity wound, this identity wounding. So this is what um, the addictions can foster. Trying to run away from this. Also, when it's Chiron in Aries like this, it's like trying to hide, build an illusion over who you really are. So we've seen that in hip hop a lot here recently also, where these curtains that have been covering these personas and these identities of people are now being revealed. That's this Chiron wound in Aries. We have then Neptune is up here. And Neptune up here, remember, is how we're escaping. I need to move this down. Boop, boop. There we go. So Neptune is how we're escaping, how hip hop is escaping this wound. And having Neptune over here in Sagittarius, means that hip hop is escaping through its philosophy, through its magical words. This is how hip hop escapes this identity wound. This is how hip hop builds the illusion that is to try and hide this identity wound. Is around using these philosophical theories and meanings and words to create an illusion. So this is how we would see the addiction. So addiction in hip hop's chart is around this building of illusion through philosophy and words. Also, having this Neptune in Sagittarius, this escape can also be through learning and higher education. So these can be people that are like the forever students, which you can see is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be a bad thing if you never become the master of something, if you never become the expert, if you're forever the student and forever learning. When people start looking at you and are like, you're supposed to be the teacher. You're supposed to be this master teacher now that can teach others, but instead you're stuck in this cycle of forever learning. That could be this Neptune in Sagittarius. Also, this Neptune in Sagittarius could also look like an addiction to always needing to go to something new. There always needs to be something new. So instead of like a perfection of the craft, this goes again with kind of this always learning. It's always jumping to something new. So this like can be seen as like this addiction to learning, in that you're like a jack of all trades. You're like good at everything and an expert at nothing. So this is what this addiction within this hip hop chart can look like. Because if you're running from this wound of the identity and you have this addiction to always jumping to something new, it could be that you're always jumping to a new identity. It's forever changing the definitions of who hip hop is and who belongs and who doesn't. And because of that, then it's not able to be able to grow. But the thing is, and this is for all of us, when you're able to actually face your wound, so when you're able to face your greatest wound, which is your Chiron, then you are able to grow in a way where now your Neptune can actually help you to envision things bigger and help you to grow into like the identity or the person you're meant to be. So it's kind of like this addiction is a blessing or a cursing. It depends on how you're using it. So if hip hop is facing its wound within this Aries, its identity wound, where it's just accepting that this is who hip hop is, now it can begin to use this learning and all of its experience, this higher education, this drawing in of new energy and new thought all the time, to be able to grow and expand in its expertise, in who it is, not trying to hide who it is in all of these different like personas. So I think this is what we're seeing a lot of right now, in that hip hop is requiring authenticity. Like it's no longer enough to just sound good or to just look good. It's no longer enough to just say the same things that everybody else has been saying. Your bare minimum illusion is not enough anymore to be a true representative of hip hop expertise. But remember also that hip hop is preparing to move into its space of wisdom. So, I haven't drawn that in a while. So, at the core of who you are, so that sun, that moon, that rising, your life path number, your name, all of that is here at the core of who you are. At the beginning of your life, so from age 0 all the way to 27, where this is 9 years old and this is 18, we're in this phase of youth. This is when we are building up experiences. We're having experiences out in the world that are building our identity. And then we move into the next square, which is the power square. It goes from 27 all the way to 54. And this is 36, and this is 45. And in this power square, we are building up and having our identity tested. So this is where you have a testing of the identity so that you can strengthen the identity. Part of this, at the very end of this power square, right here, at about age 50 to like 53, this is your Chiron return. This is when you are forced to face the wound. So if you think about the age of hip hop, in 2023 is when hip hop turned 50. Hip hop is within this Chiron return right now. In this Chiron return is when you have to face your wounds. And so you no longer can run and escape. This is when Neptune starts dissolving the illusion instead of allowing you to escape into the illusion. And so this is what hip hop is facing right now. But in 2027, 2024, 2020, yeah, 2027. So in 2027 is when hip hop will move out of this power square and move into the next square, which is wisdom. Now, if you see where all of this is about building identity. So with hip hop having its Chiron within Aries, which is the area of identity, this whole journey is accentuated for hip hop. It's much more out in the open. It's much more impactful. But once you get to this place of wisdom, so this is from 54, here would be 63, this would be age 72, and then back to the beginning here at age 81. This is when you are now using your experiences. So as you're going through here, you're learning how to use the experiences that you've had in power and in youth to share your identity. This is legacy building time. And so for all of us, we all have this Neptune and this Chiron within our charts that display this addiction, this running away from the wound. But we all also, at some point in our life, are going to hit this Chiron return where we're going to be asked to face our wound so that we can go into this wisdom square and actually begin to build and leave a legacy. Our legacies are not within us, they're outside of us. Your legacy is not how the world impacted you. Your legacy is how you impacted the world because it's what you leave behind. So this is the benefit of overcoming the addiction. So also, I would like to point out that a lot of the hip hop artists and people in the hip hop spaces that we've been seeing display these addictions, most of them are in this L portion here. So from 18 to about 36. This is your hardest transition in life. So from like 18 to 27. 27 is when you're actually considered an energetic vibrational adult. So some of y'all just still babies. All the way to 36. But this is where you have this split. This is where you have this division between who you are and who you're meant to be. So it is most likely that you would see um, these addictions displayed in this point in life. Now, when addictions are displayed, which we have also seen in hip hop in the last few years, and you are older, like you in your 50s, and you're just showing your addictions, ooh, they come out, look, they are way worse. Because if you get past this Chiron return and you have not faced your addictions, you're still heavy in your addictions, ooh wee. Ooh wee. It could take you out. Hey, it is a 7. You're right. So you're most likely to see these addictive and addiction behaviors, yeah, in this age, 18 to like 36. And then if you recognize those addictions and begin to gain control over them, then you're not as surprised when you have to face them here from 50 to 53. Okay. I think that's all I have for that part. Oh my gosh. Sexy Red Chiron is crazy, Rumple. That is crazy. Oh my gosh. All right. So we looked at addiction. Let's look at these phrases right after I get some water. I can't forget to drink my water. Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, Judy. Yes. Just yes. Okay, let's grab these. Oh man. That's so funny. All right. So, let's grab these. Let's see if I can be fancy today. Maybe. I don't know. That D on word might get cut off here, but we'll see. Oh, so you fancy, huh? So you fancy, huh? Did you all hear I think it came out this week. Juvenile's new song. He put out a video also with him and his son. Is it Young Juvenile? I hope it's not little. It might be little because I keep like trying to act like I can't remember, but I think it's young. Oh, 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 okay, Rumble. Anyway, let's look here. All right. So, what were the phrases about culture that we should look at? So I know like culture, I'm trying to get the exact phrasing, like the quote for it, because that seems to be what we need to look at. Because was it culture is nothing? Culture is reduced to a buzzword? Like, what was it? What phrases should we use? Because it does feel like these two need to go together, but it's in quote form. So while you look that up for me and let me know what full phrases I should use, we can look at boom times three. Boom times three. So boom, boom, boom. Oh my gosh, okay, stop. Whew, okay. So we already know, just like with any single vibration, when we have it repeated, um, this amplifies the vibration. It amplifies the vibration. So this is an amplified vibration here because we have this 3 times. And then if we use our little code book of A equals 1 all the way to Z equals 26, B is 2, O is 15, O is 15, and M is 13. So we also, I wanted to write it this way because then you can see that we also have an amplification of this 15 vibration. And 15 is this choice between bondage and freedom. Oh, hi, Doc. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. So we have this amplification of this word that's being repeated, but then we also have this amplification within this word with these 2 O's. So this vibration will feel very loud. And usually people do say this pretty loudly. um Even just when you don't say it loudly, it feels like a very loud expression. And this is why. Because of these amplified vibrations. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, you're right, Doc. I didn't even think about that. You're right. So when this all is added together, oh, get a different color. Boom, one boom is 45, which is a 9. And so just one boom is giving this vibration. It's telling this story of something needing to come to an end. And the way it's coming to an end is that a change must happen. A change must happen to change the foundation of things. So the foundational way of thought, the foundational ways of doing things, this is what needs to come to an end, and there needs to be a change that happens so that we can see what needs to come to an end within these foundations. So then when we do oh, 71? Yeah, we can look at that. Yeah, because when we look at all three, it's the 135 you put before. But yeah, 71 is interesting. Why would you have that? Anyway, okay, we'll get to that. Because yeah, that is weird. So then if we do 45 times 3, actually, let's put this down here because before I do that, I do want you to see that this is an amplification of this vibration 9. So it actually is 999. 999. Ending the cycles. So it's not just ending, it's not bringing to a completion, it's ending the cycles. It's ending these repeat patterns of how things have been thought about, how things have been done. And that's absolutely necessary. So, and it's interesting that this is how this expression is being used. All right. So then we can look at all together now. All together now. So then this adds up to 135. So whereas one of these words, boom, is 45, where it's saying a change needs to come to change the foundation of the way things are done, the thinking, and then them coming together 3 times is now bringing about this 135, which is also a 9. But it is saying this is a change that needs to happen for a full transformation. Oh, good. Good, Doc. I was a little bit worried about that. Like what that was gonna, yeah. Good. Nice. But this is saying the change that's coming in is bringing a transformation. So it's not just change. Transformation is this biggest change that you could ever make. It's a change that you cannot come back from. So it's saying we're not just making changes to the foundation, changes to this cycle, this way of doing things, these patterns that keep repeating, but we're actually transforming them completely. Yes, Josh. Yep. Yep. And remember when we first started looking at the vibrations between Cole and the interviewers that he was having, we only looked at a couple of them, but all of them included 9s. Yeah, and it was really because he was trying to change the narrative. He was trying to end this pattern, this repeat narrative that he didn't like. So vibrationally, that's what he was trying to do with these interviews. Now, I don't know if it worked. Seemed like to me made things worse, but that's just my opinion. And yep, and back to nine again. Yep. So nine took us back to nine and all the nines and some more nines. But also, you can see we have within even these letters where we have M is 13. So we have an amplified vibration of this transformation. We also have 15 here. So we have these fives, but also 555 is 15. It resonates as 15 as well. So we have a lot of energy around change and transformation and bringing an end to these cycles. Very interesting. Okay, let's look at 71 real quick. And uh-huh. Okay. So the oopsie doo 71, we added up, it's an 8. So this is resulting in or a focus on this reap what you sow energy or this karmic energy or karma itself. Um hmm. But what it is this new energy, like something new coming in, but it's not feeling like brand new. It's like looking at new something in a new way. So it's like a new point of view. So gaining a new point of view allows you to take action in vibrational flow in a way that you haven't done before. So it is creating a new cycle of energy and not the old. Hmm. Okay. um, but also, if we do, because this came out along with that 135, so let me get a different color here. If we do 135 plus the 71, now we get 206. And remember that this 26 is that numeric vibration of that little g god. So when facing these little g gods, you are going to need to break up these comfort zones. See what you are comfortable with that you should not be comfortable with. Why are you so comfortable with these man made gods, which really is most gods, and not fully connected into this universe higher power representation of God? Like all of these gods that are made to be a representative of this bigger vibration of zero that we don't have any control over, and we're trying to define it in that way. So it's finding this big G God within these little man-made gods so that you can shift your comfort zones and end the division within. Sure, you could go with that, Rumpel. That works. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right, where did I put those other words? Where are they? Oh, there they go. I found them. All right, so did we have any specific phrases to use with buzzword and culture? Was there a specific quote or phrase that I should be using and looking at for these? Or what was the quote? I'm looking back in chat, but I didn't think I saw anybody put anything there, but I'm going to check. Okay. Okay, so let's look at these buzzword and culture. We'll look at them just as separate terms. So, buzzword. The first thing right away is we keep talking about this 26. But Z, if we use our little code, A is 1 all the way to Z is 26. We have 26, 26. We have an amplification again of this little G God vibration in here already with these two Z's. And then if we all right, I'm adding this up. I thought so. Okay. So here we'll do 2 plus 21 plus 26 plus 26 plus 23 plus 15 plus 18 plus 4. And that'll give us the vibration, the numeric vibration of the word buzzword. Okay, I'm doing it. Anybody else want to add it up also? I'm gonna get some water. So when we add this all up, we get 135 again. So 135 was also the numeric vibration of boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you could go check. I knew you wanted to check. Oh, that's just a coincidence, right? You saw me ask everybody what words, and these were the words. I didn't choose these. And here we go again. So we are getting a very loud message of 135 going to 9. So this 9 of needing to end these cycles, these ways of doing things, these ways of thinking, any rigidity around how you think that is not allowing you to let this transformation happen. And needing to make the change, and it's a little bit of a change. It's just like it's just like a small change. So it's kind of like if you are looking in one direction and you're saying, I don't know which way to go. I don't know which way to go. I'm lost. I don't know which way to go. But the sign to tell you which way to go is behind you. Making one change and turning around now gives you access to the sign to help you move and make this biggest change you can make, which is this transformation. So when something is labeled a buzzword, it's supposed to be invoking this energy of something negative. It has a negative connotation. But this vibration that is going out into the world is like producing these big, huge changes, these transformations. Hey, right now we've seen, like we saw yesterday, 7, all of those 7s we've seen this week, and now these 9s are coming through to let us know, hey, let's make some change. But also what I think is interesting is that if we take because we've seen this 135 twice now. So if we do 135 plus the 135, so we have the 135 from buzzword, and we have the 135 from boom times 3. This gets us 270, which again is another 9. But even more than just being another 9, we saw over here that hip hop, when we get the numeric vibration of the name hip hop, it's 72. So this 270 is a mirror image of hip hop at 72. So if we do 270 right next to this vibration of hip hop, which is 72, now we are seeing that at the center of this learning lesson, because we have God, big G God, universe, higher power, here acting as a mirror. And this mirror is trying to get us to recognize that an end must come. We must get to an end. And how do we do that? We look at the reflection, at the mirror image of what we are seeing, gives us clues and hints as to what are the lessons we need to learn. That's why I always say that the relationships we have, whether it's with a stranger for 2 seconds or it's with these longer lasting relationships that we have, all of them are a mere image. They're a reflection to us of a lesson that we need to learn. So, very interesting. We got these nines and sevens still coming out here. And my little writing board, it died. And of course, this is the one time I didn't pull out the cord, so I don't know where it is, like super easy. But that's okay. I'll just have to type. It's just gonna look funny. Because we just have one more word, and then we'll do our and then we'll do our wheel. All right. So we have the word culture. Culture. And this is 3 plus 21. Oh man. Let's go. My arms are going to hurt. Good thing it's only one. 20 plus 21 plus 18 plus 5. There you go. There's some more math. So the word culture. So while you're doing that math, I will say all of our words, the point of us even having words and the development of language is to try and explain and express the vibrations that we are encountering. So whether it's giving something a name or whether it is trying to express what we feel, all of the use of language and words is to try and explain this pure vibration that we are experiencing from our perspective. Because remember that our perspective is changing that pure vibration, where the pure vibration, it encompasses everything positive and negative that can be represented by that vibration. And it's our perspective that then changes how we are interpreting it, how we are expressing it. And that's why the words can change. That's also why words, people could use different words and different ways of expressing the same experience. Just like we could have two twins growing up in the exact same environment, and they're twins in every way, but then they have a different experience than everybody else. Oh, that's crazy. You know what I just noticed? It's crazy that this adds up to 88. And yes, I can see your number. Okay, now I'm creeped out. Now I'm about to leave. Because, all right, I'm going to put 88 here. Because why? Why? So we have 88 that goes to another 16 of the tower, but we shouldn't have 88 because I made a mistake. Because right here, I forgot the L. L is 12. Oh my gosh. So I guess 88 needed to come out. because that's not what it's supposed to be. So now if we take 88 plus the 12, we get the actual vibration of the word culture, which still is kind of crazy. It's 100. So culture has this double dose of this universal vibration, this vibration that we can't control, that is the representation of that pure vibration of God. But with this 88 coming out, it is, gosh, it is signifying, because if we add these together, 100 plus 88 gives us that 188 that has been coming up quite often as well. So we'll put that here too. Oh my gosh. I thought I was only going to be typing ones, and it's not. And this goes to that 17. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I made the box too small. So we'll do 188. Oh. This is giving me a workout. I think I'd rather laugh than do this stretching. So here we go again with this story. So everything that's been coming out this week about, and in the last couple weeks, around culture, and what is hip hop culture, and who defines it, and where is it going, this is signifying that there is this division, this split between those that believe the culture is a tower that is falling, and those that believe that culture is at this center point of the blessing energy of the star that is to come after the tower falls. And it makes sense. It's like there's these two camps. There's these two camps that believe that culture is one that is falling. That culture is falling. It's falling away like this tower. And there's another that believes that these foundations that have been built up, this use of industry, this use of genre instead of culture, is the tower that is going to fall. And as that tower falls, as the industry tower falls, then it reveals how culture is the star in this hip hop space. Because also, if we look at, oh my gosh, I gotta type some more. It's so weird to be typing on here. But if we look at hip hop culture, if we look at that phrase, so hip hop culture is 72 plus 100, which is 172. First of all, you see that 17 is already right in there, and this is a 10. It's this 10 energy that has the 0 that is enhancing and supporting the new energy that's coming into the space. So what it seems like, and I'm going to try and take my personal opinion out as much as possible and just read the vibrations. But what it is looking like is that it's a split, it's a division between honoring the past, because in honoring the past, you get one definition of this hip hop culture, versus it's not erasing the past, it's more like living the past, where it's looking at life as like the present moment is all that exists. So how hip hop exists right now, that's the only way that that's how they're seeing the culture right now. They're not seeing it as the past is what has built the culture and defined the culture, versus that the culture is like this weird nebulous thing that changes so regularly that it's only what it is in this moment. And it is very much this difference between um yes, oh good LT, hi LTFM, hi. Yes, please do, because it is like it is it's like the difference between being in the culture or seeing the culture from within versus seeing it from without. Because it's like if you look at a photograph. So you look at a photograph of like a family reunion. Now, if you are in that photograph, you're in that family, you had that experience. Now, when you look at that photograph, you have this whole story around it of what happened before, what happened on that day, what's happened after, that is attached to that one image. But if you are not in the picture, you did not have that experience, you're just witnessing this moment in time from this one snapshot, you're not including what came before, what happened, what else happened in that day, or what's come after. You're just looking at that photograph, and you're using that photograph as all the information you need. That's this difference that seems to be coming out. And it's those that are just looking at the photograph. They're just looking at the hip hop culture in this one snapshot moment of time and not considering what came before, what else has happened, and may not have been seen in that same moment, or what's coming after, that are seeing it as a tower and not as a star. Very interesting. I need that video, LT, because this is not what I expected to come out. Well, and it came out by accident because I made a mistake. But was it a mistake? Maybe not. Because this is where we got to because of it. But very interesting. If I could draw, because my board was not dead, I would draw like what I was describing. Like if there's a picture, a snapshot on a timeline, because it's all those experiences across that timeline, and all of the perspectives of those experiences that actually make the culture. So you can't take just that snapshot. You can't just look at it in this one moment in time and really know enough about the culture to say that it's falling or it's not. That is my opinion. All right. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. All right. Let me get out of here. Let me give us a space here. And are we ready to spin our wheel? Let me get some water and give you a moment to let me know if there's anything else that you want to add to the conversation. And then we can spin our wheel. Spin that wheel. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, yes. That's exactly it, LT. Yeah, yeah. No, that's exactly it. Because it is like you're not just taking a snapshot of the moment right now. You have to consider what was and what is coming or what's meant to come. Hi, dude. Thanks for being here. You are just in time to spin the wheel. Okay, so with my new fancy smancy self, let me see if I can get this to work. Where is oh my gosh. You see? You see what I did? Look at me. I'm fancy, right? All right. So now I just gotta go over to the wheel so he can spin it. All right. Are we ready? Woohoo! Now the wheel is all super big for you too. Here we go. Spin that wheel. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll figure out how to make the sound where you can hear the sound because it actually makes a pretty cool sound. Oh my gosh. Why did thank you. Thank you. But what? Yeah. Okay. A random number is not so random. just just saying. All right, I'm coming back over here. So I guess we'll first go back over here cuz where was it? Uh right here. 135 plus 135 is 270. So the universe again is like, "Hello." Pay attention. Pay attention. We got this 135. I got to put the wheel down. We got this 135 twice, giving us this message that added up to this 270. And now we got the 270 again for our for our uh, for our vibration for the week. So we get these. Oh, yeah, everything's connected. So we get these random numbers, supposedly random numbers and vibrations every single week. Um, so that we can start really paying attention to the vibrations that are around us, how we are impacting those vibrations and how they're impacting us. And so our vibration for this week is 270. Oh my gosh, I'm stretching. I'm stretching and I'm stretching. Oh my god, I'm stretching. My for those of you that just came in, my writing board died and I don't have the cord near. Okay. And so here we are with 9 again. Also, um did we have this come up yesterday also? Because now I'm like having this memory cuz 27 27 is the numeric vibration of the phrase a god, but little g God. But also a 9. So we have this a god, little g God, here in competition with and actually working with this 0 of the vibration of God, universe, higher power. So this God, universe, higher power is amplifying this vibration of 27. It's trying to help us recognize the gods that we have created, because we need to take action and take control back over these gods that we've created, so we're able to end the divisions that have and the polarization that's been created because of these gods. Yeah, I think you're right, Josh. It was something, wasn't it? Was it integrity? Let me see. It might have been. Oh yeah, we had in 27 in there because integrity was 127. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So I will put that here. Integrity. Because we were talking about that yesterday. It was 127. Um, so that's where we've seen the 27 recently. Let's also, I'll put in here, oh my gosh, I don't want to stretch very much more. But 7, oh, well, let's start with 0. So 0 is that energy that we can't control. It's the big G God, it's the universe, it's the higher power. So this higher power is helping us to recognize these little g gods that we have created and taken over our life and created so much polarization. So whether you have allowed money to be your god, fame and fortune to be your god, all of these little g gods that you really have control over, and do not control you, need to be reined in. 7 is this action in vibrational flow. So it's taking the right action at the right time so that we can get to a place where we end the division, the dualism. That's not how you spell division. I forgot an I. There we go. Division, dualism, or polarization. And we'll move this up. Oh, thanks, LT. It's fancy, right? So, this week we are looking for this vibration of 270. And you can look for it as the number itself. So 270, see how you encounter it. But also, we have already seen that this vibration of 9 is very strong right now. So any forms of 9, any of these vibrations that add up to 9 will be really strong this week, and we need to look out for them. This is the ending of cycles, especially if there are things that should have ended last year. So 2025 was a 9 year. That's when a lot of these cycles, a lot of these things should have ended. So that's the vibration for this week, is 270. Freak this out. Well, freaked me out. Why are you coming up so often? Why you got so much to say? But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so very, very much. Yes, it is. It is. It's the end of that youth. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And it's in that critical point, that critical time point. Yep. Thank you so much for being here. If you didn't hit the like button on your way in, please hit it on your way out. I will be back live on Wednesday on Twitch. And then I will be back here on YouTube live on Friday and Saturday. I'll see you all around. I'll be around dancing and randomly commenting here and there. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye.